Have you ever stepped off a flight and felt like you needed a vacation just to recover from the flight itself? Maybe your neck was stiff, your back was aching, you couldn't sleep, or you spent half the journey listening to crying babies, slamming lavatory doors and rattling service carts. The frustrating part is that most travelers assume this is just part of flying. But what if I told you that many of these problems are caused by one decision you make before you even leave home? Not the airline, not the ticket price, not even whether you're flying economy or business class. It's the seat you choose. A single row can determine whether you arrive rested and ready to enjoy your trip, or exhausted before your vacation even begins. Today, we're going to reveal 10 airplane seat mistakes that countless travelers make without realizing it. Some of these seats look amazing on the booking screen but become nightmares once you're in the air. Others are surprisingly easy upgrades that can make a long flight dramatically more comfortable. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which seats to avoid, which seats to target, and how to give yourself the best possible chance of a smooth, comfortable journey. If you want more travel tips like this, hit subscribe. 10. The back row problem. Many travelers purposely choose seats near the rear of the aircraft because they believe there's a better chance the middle seat will remain empty. Years ago, that strategy often worked. Today, not so much. Modern flights are packed more efficiently than ever, and the rear cabin often becomes one of the noisiest places on the aircraft. Think about everything happening behind you and around you. Lavatories constantly opening and closing, passengers lining up, flight attendants preparing food and drinks, service carts moving back and forth, doors slamming throughout the flight. Instead of getting rest, you're surrounded by continuous activity. For long-haul flights, that noise can make the difference between arriving refreshed and arriving completely exhausted. Whenever possible, try to stay several rows away from both lavatories and galley areas. 9. The bassinet bulkhead surprise. At first glance, bulkhead seats seem like a fantastic deal. Extra legroom, no reclining seat directly in front of you, more space to stretch. Sounds perfect, right? Unfortunately, these rows often serve another purpose. On many international flights, bulkhead walls are equipped with attachment points for infant bassinets. That means if parents are traveling with a baby, the bassinet may be installed directly in front of your seat. And while babies are wonderful, sitting next to a crying infant for 6, 8, or even 10 hours can completely change your travel experience. Before selecting a bulkhead seat, take a moment to check whether it's commonly used as a bassinet row. That simple step could save you an entire flight of frustration. 8. The turbulence myth. Most people believe the back of the airplane provides the smoothest ride. In reality, the opposite is often true. Aircraft move around a central balance point, which is typically located near the wings. As turbulence affects the aircraft, the sections farther away from that center tend to experience more movement. Imagine a seesaw. The farther you sit from the middle, the more motion you feel. That's why travelers who are sensitive to turbulence often have a much more comfortable experience sitting near or directly over the wing. If turbulence makes you anxious or prone to motion sickness, choosing a seat around the aircraft's center of gravity may dramatically improve your flight. If you're enjoying the video so far, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. 7. Aisle versus window, a different calculation. For many travelers, the window seat feels like the obvious choice. You get the view, you can lean against the wall, you avoid being bumped by passing passengers, but on longer flights, convenience often matters more than scenery. If you need to get up regularly, every bathroom trip becomes an obstacle course when you're trapped in a window seat. You either climb over strangers or wait until they're awake. Neither option is particularly enjoyable. That's why many experienced travelers increasingly favor aisle seats, especially on flights longer than 3 hours. The freedom to stand, stretch, and move around whenever you need can make a surprisingly big difference in overall comfort. 6. The empty middle strategy. If you're traveling as a couple, here's a simple trick that can occasionally give you extra room without paying for an upgrade. Instead of booking 2 seats together, choose the window seat and the aisle seat in the same row. Leave the middle seat unoccupied. Because the middle seat is usually the least desirable seat on the plane, it may remain empty if the flight isn't completely full. When it works, both travelers enjoy additional personal space and a much more comfortable journey. And if someone eventually gets assigned to the middle seat, Many people are happy to swap for either the window or the aisle. It's a simple strategy that costs nothing to try. What's your preference, aisle or window? Drop it in the comments to help other travelers. 5. The 24-hour seat opportunity. Most travelers select a seat once and never check again. That can be a mistake. Airlines frequently adjust seating availability as departure approaches. Premium seats, exit rows, preferred aisles, and forward cabin seats may suddenly become available during the online check-in period. This means a seat that looked unavailable weeks ago might become available exactly when check-in opens. One of the smartest habits frequent travelers develop is checking the seat map again about 24 hours before departure. Sometimes the upgrade costs nothing, and sometimes it transforms an uncomfortable flight into a comfortable one. A few minutes of effort can produce hours of additional comfort. 4. Don't trust the airline seat map alone. Airline seat maps are useful, but they're not always complete. A seat may appear normal on the booking screen while hiding important limitations. Maybe the seat doesn't recline. Maybe the window is partially blocked. Maybe there's no power outlet. Maybe storage space is restricted. These details often don't appear during booking. That's why experienced travelers frequently check detailed aircraft seating resources and passenger reviews before finalizing their seat selection. A few minutes of research can help you avoid some surprisingly disappointing surprises. 3. The hidden armrest feature. Here's a little-known feature many travelers discover completely by accident. On numerous aircraft, the aisle-side armrest isn't permanently fixed. A hidden release button or latch underneath allows the armrest to lift upward. Why does this matter? Because it creates extra room when entering or exiting your seat. For travelers with mobility limitations, knee discomfort, hip stiffness, or simply a desire for more space, this tiny feature can make boarding and deplaning significantly easier. Just remember that armrests should remain in their proper position during takeoff and landing. Still, it's one of those small travel hacks that can make a surprisingly large difference. 2. The tight connection seat choice. When you have a short layover, every minute matters. Many travelers focus entirely on the connection time itself while ignoring one important detail: where they're sitting. If you're seated near the back of a large aircraft, it may take a long time before you're even able to exit the plane. Add overhead bin delays and crowded aisles, and valuable minutes disappear quickly. For tight connections, consider selecting an aisle seat in the front portion of the cabin whenever possible. You'll get off the aircraft sooner and reduce the risk of missing your next flight. It's a simple adjustment that can save a tremendous amount of stress. 1. The bulkhead storage trap. And finally, the seat many travelers actively seek out: the bulkhead row. At first glance, it seems ideal. No seat directly in front of you. Extra legroom. A more open feeling. But there's a hidden downside many people don't consider. Because there's no seat in front of you, there's also no underseat storage. That means your essentials must go into the overhead bin during takeoff and landing. Your medication, your reading glasses, your phone charger, your water bottle, your tablet, everything. Most of the time, that's merely inconvenient. But if turbulence continues for an extended period and the seatbelt sign remains illuminated, accessing those important items may become impossible. For travelers who rely on medications or frequently need personal items during a flight, this can quickly become a major issue. Bulkhead seats certainly have advantages, but they're not automatically the best choice for everyone. Sometimes the seat that looks perfect on the booking screen creates the biggest problems once you're airborne. The truth is that comfortable flying isn't always about spending more money. Often it's about making smarter choices. A little knowledge before booking can help you avoid noise, turbulence, unnecessary stress, missed connections, and hours of discomfort. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with fellow travelers, and subscribe for more practical travel tips that can make every trip easier and more enjoyable. And now we want to hear from you. What's the worst airplane seat you've ever booked and why? Leave your experience in the comments below. Thanks for watching, safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video.